ticket to anywhere. And a glazed donut. To go, to go. The brain train. The brain train. All aboard.
I don't know if it's the cappuccino talking, but man, it feels good to see that. It's been a long time, my friend.
Been a while.
How are you?
Good.
Your hair is longer.
Yeah.
It's been some months, my friend.
It has indeed, yeah.
I haven't seen you face to face like this since July the 15th, I believe it was, when we did the Mystique episode.
Yeah, that was the last time we were on at all, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see you, my friend. Yeah, Chris R agrees. The hair is longer. The perennial Chris R. If we didn't have Chris R, we'd have nobody. Love you, man. So thanks for, at the last minute last night before you went to bed, agreeing to come on today. Because for you, it is 7:03 in the morning.
It is indeed.
And what's Saturday like?
Cloudy, overcast. Probably going to rain. We had a bit of lightning last night, actually.
Damn. I was hoping you had better news for us.
Yeah, which is odd because we're in spring now and we're pretty much preparing to ramp up into summer in the next month or so, which I'm not looking forward to.
Well, I'm expecting some snow pretty soon. And, one thing that I always said I wanted to do was do a live stream outdoors in the snow. And I do have to... I still want to do that. I think that would be hilarious. I would have to do it from my cell phone because I couldn't risk my laptop, but I think we should do that one day. Are you with me? Would you do if we had a forecast for snow, would you come on and do a snow stream?
Yeah, totally. I'd do a live stream when you're in the snow.
Yes, exactly. When I'm asking no one else to be in the snow. Although Meat Man would probably, go outside for a cigarette in the snow. Anyway, so tonight we're just chitting and chatting, doing some show and tell and seeing what's up. I'm sure you have lots of new music and new toys that you might want to show off. And we know I have Japanese imports and a big old red truck made of bricks to show off. So I don't know. What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about?
I was going to let you be the conductor of this one, but...
Okay, well then let's start big. You ready?
That's a small cup.
It is, but it's very strong, my friend. I'll show the box first. This is what he comes in. You can see how large the box is.
Well,
shows how he transforms. Shows his accessories, which I'll show you. Inside that box, there was, a sticker sheet with minimal stickers and a very nice instruction booklet. Aside from the fact that a lot of the parts are dark, dark bricks on top of dark bricks, was very easy to follow. But took me about a little over 2 days, I would say, to put Prime together.
Yeah, I know a couple sets where it's like dark brick on dark brick.
Right.
There's this one Endor tree made out of mostly dark brown. That was a nightmare to build.
My sister has the Dagobah tree.
Ah, yes.
But anyway, as you know, I was convalescing at home last month with after some tooth surgery, which, by the way, is still bothering me. So I built Prime over the first 2 days, and I'll show him off in his truck mode. You can see he's rather large. And I have to be very careful. I have to be very careful about how I hold him because you grab the wrong part and it's just hanging on. This isn't a feature that's listed in the instruction booklet, but his jetpack for robot mode fits right there. It's nice and I'm sure it's meant to be there, and it's an omission that it's not in the instruction booklet. He has nice little side mirrors. I love the overhead cab lights. I love the angle at which the let me see here. There we go. You can kind of see the angle of the front windows.
Oh, yeah.
The front grille, the headlights. There's the side view there. Very flat nose, which he's supposed to be. Nice beefy tires. I love the gas tanks on the side. He has tail lights and this is actually quite nice. These yellow bits here are actually sort of rubbery pads that give him some sturdiness when he's in robot mode. But look, they look like tail lights, and he has more.
I've never seen those pieces before.
As you know, there's at least one brand new piece that was made specifically for this, which we'll talk about. But I also just want to point out
that's got to be some of the best foot kibble management I've seen on an Optimus Prime ever.
Absolutely, better than Masterpiece. I also just want to point out this new. Well, I don't know if it's new, but it's sort of a shiny, silvery sheen to a lot of the parts, including the gas tanks, and whatever they call it, they call it like a brushed silver or something like that.
Yeah, there's a couple of silvers. There used to be chrome, but I think that's been phased out for most pieces.
Yes,
I think Dooku's lightsaber back in 2014 was the last chrome piece they had.
I had that.
Yeah, and then there's they've got like this molded silver. They've got the brushed silver. So yeah, there's a couple of silvers. There's some gunmetals too.
I don't know who this commenter is. Anonymous Facebook user. Ha! You can't quit talking about music. It's like The Godfather Part 3. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. I don't know who this person is.
Given the anonymity, I'd put some money on Holland if I was a betting man.
But it's a Facebook account. He doesn't use that. He uses YouTube.
I know, but he very briefly had one.
Oh, okay.
He went back in and reactivated it just for this.
Gotcha.
That's all.
Sorry, I just want to point out, in this mode here, there's only one visible sticker, which is the front bumper. The wheels are prints. The Autobot logo on the jetpack and the two sides, they're all prints. Any other details there you see are prints. I'll get to some of the other gimmicks in a bit, but I'll transform him very carefully. So first I will remove the jetpack and his ion. There is no parts forming the way that I do this because we'll get to that. But I'm going to remove the ion blaster here, which is a beautiful accessory, by the way. Okay,
very well
so
done.
Very carefully here, we just sort of untab the front here and pull everything up. I'm not sure if I'm doing everything in the right order here, so I might have some bits falling off, but I'm going to move out his arms very carefully. There's nice ratchets there. Could you hear the ratchets?
Yeah, the ratchets.
Very nice ratchets. Elbows and shoulders both. Okay, so we got his arms out of the way. Now I'm going to rotate the entire... Well, actually, I'm going to fold these little side bits in and get his arms out of the way even more. I'm going to rotate the entire cab around like so that he is now back to front. And then I'm just going to ratchet his legs straight like so. I'm going to unclip them. They're just held together by clips. Can you see the clips?
Yep.
And we push his feet forward. I find that these little light bars like to pop off at this point, but push his feet forward like that. And this is a neat bit, and I want to show it on top here. Very nice detailed top, but this whole thing is hinged, and out comes his head. And lastly, we just kind of flip his hands and thumbs.
Prime, you're exposing yourself.
Prime likes to show off his pecs, but we're going to sort of... This whole thing kind of comes down naturally. It just, you have to have everything lined up right, but it just tabs into his belt line there. And then everything just folds in naturally, like so. Everything just folds in, and that's his waist. That's Prime in robot mode. His hands are kind of goofy there. I'll straighten him up a bit, but he does not have individual finger articulation, but you can easily take off one piece here to give him finger articulation. His head is on a ball joint, and it can move around like that. His arms, because of the transformation, will butterfly backwards, but they actually, these little bits here, they actually tab in to holes.
Can he do the Matrix hot rod pose where like up in the air, or like
he can do that much? He can do that much. And speaking of the Matrix, it's in here. Mm-hmm. It's a separate piece that comes right out.
Yep.
Comes right out. Comes right out.
Of course, now the camera's on. It wants to fight you.
It's in there very loosely, but it's very neat how they get it to stay in there. It's very cool. It's a very fun building process. I needed something to occupy my mind when I was convalescing on my couch for, forever, or what felt like forever, and eating the most bland food that I could find. I cannot get his belt to tab in, but thing is, I may have this misassembled at the moment because I was playing around with him and stuff fell out. So I may have misassembled that. But anyway, that's what he looks like in robot mode. His gun will nicely just tab onto his arm like so. He's not actually holding it.
Yeah.
But it's a very nice weapon. You can really see they put a lot of detail in there, and it's made out of a lot of little pieces, and it was a lot of fun to build. There's studs going in like every direction with that gun.
I like that connection. I was never fond of the masterpiece way of doing it with that
the little tab
that would always fall out. They
this
never
is far
get
superior.
The tolerance right.
Backpack just clips in, and it's a very nice backpack, and you can move around the jets.
Yeah, that's from when he yelled at Sideswipe, I think.
Yeah. His legs will split, and neat, very neat. His ankles will tilt so that he can stand straight when you have his legs split. You can
That's
move,
always good.
You can move. You cannot move his leg backwards, but you can do a forward kick about that far. And his knees do. Oh, and one other thing is that these gas tanks are supposed to go like that.
Ah, yes.
I'll show you some of the other accessories.
Yeah, I grabbed Black Zarek, but he's a bit big.
You don't have to.
You
were referring to parts forming. This is the only parts forming.
Yeah,
if you choose to take off his fender and put on the belt, but I don't like the belt, so I leave it off. Most people have chosen to leave on the belt. He comes with the movie. Is it the movie that this was in, the axe, or was that the pilot?
I think it's the fight on Sherman Dam. Which
Okay,
would have been the pilot.
The pilot episode. He had this axe. It's not a very good axe. It looks terrible from one side, and there's no point in even putting it on.
To be fair, a lot of official Hasbro accessories look not as good from one side.
Oh, it's Brian Richards. It's Brian Richards is the Facebook user. Hello, Brian. I don't know why your name isn't coming up. You're right.
We don't have names anymore. We just have designations.
I have noticed that the interface with Facebook is different than it used to be, but he comes with an Energon cube, which was neat, transparent pink. I think it should be a little taller and more cubish. That's my nitpick. And he comes with his nameplate, which is basically just one big piece with a sticker on it. Oh, and the leg pieces on the Prime have stickers on them. And I think that's basically all the stickers. There's most people who buy Lego, they don't like stickers. They'd rather get printed pieces. Stickers are prone to wear, blah, blah, blah. So
yeah, you can mess up the alignment.
Yeah. You can mess that up easily. And I did that on my Millennium Falcon when I got that back in 2007 or 8 or whatever.
It depends which Falcon you got. There's been Falcons on the shelf. I
believe it was
pretty much continuous.
I believe it was the second Falcon. The second, not the first. Well, regardless, anyway, they're prone to wear as well. And a high price, that was $240. So for a premium product, you want a premium product for a premium price. So, the more printed pieces, the better. And it was, and the eyes are printed. The head vent, in the front of his head, that's printed. So, I thought I was very happy with it. I believe when I worked out the price per piece ratio, it was something like 15 cents a piece, which is a little steep, but it's also a licensed product. You have to remember it's a licensed product.
Yeah,
so there's a little bit of extra there. It's not like it's a Bionicle, which Lego owns.
Yeah, not that you can get those anymore, unfortunately. But...
No, not that you can get those anymore, but that would have been an example of one, Anyway,
Price per piece isn't always, I think, the best. It probably won't apply to Prime, but for like the Jurassic Park sets, which have big pieces, like the dinosaurs, they cost a lot more. So the price per piece goes way out.
The one new piece that I mentioned earlier.
Yes, the faceplate.
The faceplate. That's a brand new Lego piece, and they have since reused it in different colors, and I believe they're garden sets as like leaves and petals, things like that. Lego are very creative and clever when they design pieces. So. They make one for Optimus Prime, and then the engineers go, well, if you just turn it on its side, that looks like the petal of a flower. So.
Yeah, you see a lot of minifigure parts as well. They use them for other ones as well.
Right, like you see,
just like Hasbro reuses
minifigure
molds.
hot dogs and minifigure like shovels and things being used as greebling on the side of a starship. Yeah, very cool.
They get their money's worth out of the molds for sure.
I'll pass the baton over to you, and I got more stuff to show off, but we'll pass the baton to you for now.
I'm not going to grab Black Zarek, but one of the many new Transformers I got you might be interested in is the collaborative.
I have him.
Gigawatt.
I have Gigawatt.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure they'd want to call him Gigawatt, but yeah. This is the Unlimited Edition. Which
means what?
I think the box wasn't numbered, and I'm not sure, but I think the Unlimited Edition has the darker tint on the windows. I remember when they first revealed him, people complained because the windows were clear and you could see all this shit in it through it. But I don't know if they fixed that for the limited edition as well. But the Unlimited Edition, they definitely has the tinted windows from the second one. I usually like to fold these in here. It's not. I
believe mine is the untinted.
Yeah, that would probably have the numbered box and everything. But yeah, I don't care about numbered box. I didn't even keep the box for this guy.
I'll tell you next week. It's at the cottage, so I'll tell you next week.
Yeah, I've also got like the new Clamp Down, a few other. I'm building up Menasor, but I have everything they've released at the moment.
Unfortunately, I've basically decided to stop buying toys due to the rising cost. Black Series Star Wars figures and Marvel figures used to be $30 a pop. Now they were $44 a pop. I have some Marvel and Star Wars to show off, brand new ones, but I'll give you the floor for longer. Unless you're passing the baton back to me. It's up to you.
Well, that was all I had for Transformers. I was going to go into music now.
All right. Well, maybe I should go grab an action figure.
Yeah, you probably should. Yeah.
Before we move on to music. Okay, I'll be back. So that means you have to entertain the crowd for 60 seconds.
Oh dear. Never liked this job. All right then. So I'm going to spend all this time thinking about what to talk about, and then the moment he gets back is going to be the moment where I finally say, yes, of course, that is what I'll talk about. So I guess, one of the things I can see right now is the hair that was remarked on. It's longer. Yeah. Because for work, I tie it back. I used to have it every now and then cut back to shoulder length, but if it's that long, it doesn't tie back easily. So I sort of committed now to having it long, and then every now and then I'll just go and keep it at a suitable length.
What did I miss?
I was just explaining the reasoning behind the hair being longer.
Okay. I missed that, but I'll watch it. I promise. I guess I'll show off this brand new.
So we have to make a loud bang to wake them all up after that. There we go. Yeah.
Star Wars Black Series Dark Trooper from the TV series The Mandalorian Season 2. Very nice figure, but way overpriced at $50. Way overpriced. He comes with two. I don't need to show you. He comes with two fisted hands, which I find pointless because where do you put his gun when he's punching with his fists? And he comes with two red fire rocket boosters that come out of his feet to replicate the scene where they're flying in to capture little Grogu. But the problem is there's there's no way to display him when he's got those. Two useless accessories as far as I'm concerned. This is all you need, the figure and the gun. That's all you need. Nice paint on the eyes there. Nice shiny layers of armor, really. There's a lot of intricate stuff going on in here. Nice figure, way overpriced. Hasbro. And another overpriced but not bad figure from the upcoming film Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. It is the new Ironheart figure. And I threw out the box, but she came in the brand new windowless box. You know, the full cardboard on the plastic. Yeah. She was also overpriced at $50. She comes with a ton of accessories. These two back pieces are removable. Well, maybe they're not removable, but they had to be put on. I don't know if they're going to be like the kind of thing that kind of like pop out of her suit in the film. We'll see. She has these two little fire jets on her back.
Are those made out of soft or hard plastic, by the way?
These are soft. The whole thing is soft.
Yeah, just something to note of with the the blast effects from Transformers Siege. Sorry to digress.
No.
They're made of soft plastic.
The ones that I'm going to show you.
Yeah, if you keep them attached to a figure for too long, the plasticizer will sort of come out of it and melt the paint away. So just be careful if you're leaving them in there for a while.
Yes, you are right. Her front gauntlets, her arm gauntlets are removable, and she comes with an alternate gauntlet with a little hose attachment that you can put on either of her arms. The hose attachment goes into the backpack. I don't know what this is going to be like in the film. We haven't seen a thing yet. I have a feeling it'll be like kind of like that Stark nanotech armor where it just kind of like, pops out. She has crazy, stupid blast effects that pop into her feet in such a way that, you can't stand the figure. This is 3 separate pieces. There's a gray smoky piece. There is a long blue piece and then a smaller blue piece on the top. These also will attach to her palms, the palm of her hand, to do like a Tony Stark hand blast. But the smoke looks stupid when you do it that way, so you take the smoke off. She comes with 2 fisted hands, which are fine, but generally I prefer open grasping hands. Her open grasping hands are fine. They have that little hole in there for the blast effect, but you can just, imagine her doing that just before she's about to shoot. And she comes with an alternate head, but the alternate head looks terrible when it's on. I'll pop it off. Oh, yeah. The problem is that it makes her look like her neck is abnormally long. The head looks too small and the neck looks too long. Now, again, we haven't seen the character on screen yet. We don't know what she's going to look like when she's, in her suit. Again, I think it's going to be one of those things where it's nanotech and it just kind of comes on and goes off like most Marvel characters these days. Seems to be a pretty good likeness of the actress based on the trailers that I've seen. The hair seems to match. It remains to be seen anything about this character. I know nothing of her from the comic books. I'm looking forward to seeing Wakanda Forever.
Looks visually distinct from a lot of the MCU stuff we've seen thus far.
Yeah, and I think it will be, distinct in terms of tone as well. Just considering the context of Chadwick's passing. But anyway, that's the last of the new action figures that I had to show. So I'll turn the floor back over to you.
Yeah, the only Black Series figure I've got is my brother's Darth Maul. But I was looking at maybe getting Cobb Vanth, but I think I might have missed the boat on him. But oh well. Oh yes, and to answer Chris Sar's question, Canadian to Australian's about 1-to-1. I don't know. Do you guys have
looked it up
in your prices?
No, they're not included in the prices. They're added on.
Okay, so our prices do have tax included. So once you basically add tax, it's pretty much 1-to-1 our pricing.
Gotcha.
And then there's the Americans, which it's like all the way up there compared to us. when you tried it?
You know, I hate shopping at American stores because it's like, oh, $20, right on. And then you convert it to Canadian, you add the shipping, and it's like, holy crap, that just turned into $45. Oh man. Yeah, currency.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll get to some music.
Yeah, I'm gonna show off some imports in a bit.
The new CCR is really good. When I say new CCR, it was released back in September. It's a live album from 1970.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's the full classic lineup?
I believe so. Yeah. Doug Clifford, Stu Cook, John Fogerty, and Tom Fogerty.
Yep. Nice.
Yep.
That's cool.
Pretty much all the songs you'd want on it.
Underrated band. Well, maybe not underrated, but not celebrated enough today.
Yeah. I'd agree with that, yeah. The only problem is this is all the CCR I need now because it's that good.
Now, I'm going to ask you, I know that you and I don't necessarily find the same things funny, but have you ever seen the movie The Big Lebowski?
Mm-mm.
There's an entire subplot where his car gets stolen and there's some Creedence tapes in the car and he's really upset about the stolen Creedence tapes. But of course, there's a bit of CCR in the movie soundtrack. And Looking Out My Back Door is playing when he is in a self-inflicted car accident, and just the context of it, the way that it's edited together, how the movie is cut to the song, and it is just so funny. And I don't know if you would find that movie funny or not, but I will just recommend to you, just for the soundtrack alone, the film The Big Lebowski. Brilliant soundtrack, in my opinion, and probably the Meat Man's opinion, a brilliantly funny movie. But we don't see eye to eye on comedy.
No, I'm a boring person, you see.
I didn't say that.
No, I said that.
Shall I show off an album?
To say that.
Shall I show up? Yeah, okay. Well, I'll show off the new Def Leppard. To get all the tracks, you had to buy 2 separate Japanese import CDs.
That's nothing compared to some of the things you've bought in the past.
No, like I think
you've bought them.
I think the Alice Cooper Welcome to My Nightmare, I think I required 4 versions to get all the songs.
Yeah, there was a Maiden one that was like 3 or 4 as well. Back in that time period where they were like throwing bonus tracks on everything, different bonus tracks on every edition.
Europe, Deluxe, Japan, Vinyl. Yeah. Anyway, this one here, which I'm going to say this is the Deluxe edition just because it's in color and it's a digipack. This one here has the bonus tracks Goodbye for Good This Time, the avant-garde version, and Lifeless, the Joe only version, meaning the original was a duet. There's some duets on this album, which turned off some people. And when you add the bonus tracks, it's a bit too ballady. It's better off without the bonus tracks. It becomes too ballady. This one here, I can't read the bonus tracks because they're in Japanese. So we have to open up the booklet and see. The bonus tracks here are Angels, Can't Help You Now, the stripped version, and This Guitar, the Joe only version. Again, that was a duet. Can't remember with who. Was it Alison Krauss or somebody like that?
No clue.
I feel like I want to look that up before I move it on. Come on. Liner notes. Forget it. Anyway.
That's sort of like when they did the Rockade Armenia, and I think the last track is just Ian Gillen singing through it.
I was so disappointed when I bought that. I was so disappointed. I didn't get the full version until, that single that was released about 10 years ago.
I've got that one, the DVD and the CD. And
yes, that one. It's excellent. You finally get the full version that was in the music video with Bruce Dickinson and Paul Rogers, Bryan Adams and Alex Lifeson and Brian May. And anyway, I will just sum up by saying there's a reason that I'm not going into a lot of depth about these songs and the CDs. As much as I was excited by the very first track, which I believe was Take What You Want. It wasn't the first single, but it was the first track on the album. Great track, but I barely listened to it this summer. It has not grabbed me the way that other albums this summer did, being Ghost and Scorpions. Those two grabbed me. I know virtually like every song off by heart. I'm going to pontificate for a minute. As you get older, you have less time to invest in music, new music, than you did when you were younger. Because when I was younger, let's say I had 100 albums, maybe. I'm listening to that same 100 albums. If you listen to only one album a day for a year, you've listened to each one 3 times. That's impossible now. I have what? Like, I don't know how many. I'm going to say 6,000 at this point.
Wow.
How many years would it take? You do not get a chance to grow with a new album today at my age with my collection. And we were also talking just earlier this week about Iron Maiden, Senjutsu. Double album. Great album. I listened to it earlier this week, and I can't tell you how a single song on it goes. I couldn't sing you a single track because it's a double album that arrived.
Didn't have to be.
It didn't have to be, but it's a double album that arrived late. I was like 49 years old when it arrived. I still listen to Old Maiden. I still listen to this week. I listened to everything from the first album to Virtual 11, except I skipped Somewhere in Time because I play it so frequently. I didn't listen to it, but I played every album from the first one to Virtual 11. I still love those albums. They still hit me, and I hear new things. Like, I actually enjoyed No Prayer for the Dying this time.
Finally.
Yeah. So, for me to continue my love affair with old music and to continue to absorb new music, they're not equivalent. And Senjutsu will never occupy a space in my heart the way that Power Slave does. It's impossible. That's just space-time continuum. That's it for me pontificating. There was one more thing I wanted to add. When a legacy band like Iron Maiden puts something out like a double album, it takes so much digestion time. You do not get a chance to absorb it. Guns N' Roses put out an EP this year that I've played dozens and dozens and dozens of times because it's a short digestible length. And I know all the new Guns N' Roses songs off by heart. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, being younger myself, having the option, one of the very first Iron Maiden albums I bought was The Book of Souls, and it is my favorite of the lot because,
How old are you?
23.
23. So, at my age, when I was 23, the newest album was The X Factor, and I didn't have nearly as many albums as I do now. So The X Factor was in very constant rotation. So
also, I do a similar thing with Seventh Son and Somewhere in Time. I was like, which Maiden album should I listen to? Should I listen to some? No, I always listen to, not that I always listen to Somewhere in Time, but I'm always like, oh, that's my favorite. I want to save it so that I don't get sick of it. I don't want to listen to it too much, but I always never end up listening to it because I'm always like, no, I don't want to get sick of it, so I won't listen to it this time.
You want to hear something funny that I only noticed this week? Not all, but many of the tracks on my Seventh Son of a Seventh Son MP3 library, they're mislabeled. So I'm listening to Infinite Dreams, but it says The Clairvoyant. And I'm like, I only noticed it this week that I've mislabeled all the tracks. Oops.
Yeah, I have a Australian tour edition of Concrete Blonde's Bloodletting, and it's got 4 bonus live tracks. The order that they're listed on the track list is not the order that they are on the disc, so they're all mislabeled. So you see Roses Grow, which is like a lighter song, and it's this blistering rendition of God is a Bullet is what comes out. Funny, and The Sky is a Poisonous Garden is this, almost thrash song, but when you see The Sky is a Poisonous Garden and it's what's labeled as The Sky is a Poisonous Garden is Tomorrow Wendy, which is a tender ballad. So I'm like, oh, did they go for an unplugged version of this? And then I know. No, I'm listening to Tomorrow Wendy. It's mislabeled.
I had the same problem with my Never Say Die, Black Sabbath. All the songs are mislabeled. I'm like, that's not Junior's Eyes. That's like Swinging the Chain or something. I think sometimes they get, if you're ripping a CD, I think sometimes they pull the track listing from a different edition of the album, so European running order. So there's quite a few in my library that are messed up, but then I have to remember that they're messed up, come home, fix it, and update the multiple copies on multiple hard drives that I have of my music library.
Yeah, sometimes it identifies the completely wrong artist. One time for one of my Iron Maiden ones, it identified the writer as Los Dianos.
Los Dianos?
Yes.
Like Paul Dianos and multiple of Paul
the Dianos in like Spanish or something.
That's funny. Well, Maybe that's the name of his publishing company. I doubt it, though.
No, yeah, I doubt that. Yeah, but all right, I guess I'll move on to
Sure.
some more CDs for now. But this is previously released material, but I never got the original version of it. Yeah,
Nice.
that's you can't see because the shit lighting because of the overcast morning. But this is
Donington
actually
83.
yeah, this is the limited edition lenticular cover.
Oh, it is. You're nice.
You can
That's
see,
nice.
yeah, it's glued on basically to the cover. It's
Yeah.
slightly smaller.
I see the
Yeah,
scene.
I wanted to get 87 as well at the same time, but that wasn't in stock. But yeah, 83 is really good because this is from before he sort of majorly truncated everything into medleys. So you
Right.
have full songs of like Children of the Sea, Holy Diver, Man on the Silver Mountain as well, which you didn't get on the only other Dio live I have is Holy Diver live and Philly. And in Philly, a lot of those earlier songs were truncated into medleys. So it's really good to get them like that. I also want to pick up 87 as well.
And I believe I have that double CD.
Yeah, you've got the
83.
original double version.
Yeah. They've really milked the Dio catalog of late with reissues.
Mm.
But, stuff like Master of the Moon and Killing the Dragon, those were worthwhile reissues to me. They had bonus tracks that I didn't already have. And Magica wasn't everything I hoped it would be, but it wasn't bad.
Mm. Yeah, I don't mind a lot of the reissues because I don't have a lot of the albums. So
yeah,
the 83 and 87 were hard for me to get now. I just want them to reissue the deluxe edition of Seventh Star. That thing is prohibitively expensive and hard
is
to
it?
find these days. Yeah, it's like $80 or something for it if you can find it.
Whoa!
Now, I've spent that much on CDs before, but not something as recent. It's 2010, but it's not. I can't justify that spending that on the 7-Star Deluxe because it shouldn't be that much.
I played that one recently too. I play it far more. I play it far more frequently than I play the Eternal Idol.
It has one of my favorite Sabbath live shows on it, and it's one of my favorite Sabbath albums. So yeah.
One of your favorite live shows, really? Ray Gillen?
Yeah, Ray Gillen
Really?
is one of my favorite singers to take the Sabbath mic.
Not one of mine. No, he's just too polished and too. I don't know. I'm sorry, I got to disagree with you on that.
Plus, I love the keyboard presence on that.
The
live
keyboard,
show as
yeah,
well.
Jeff Nichols, yeah, absolutely agree.
That's going to be the highest he's ever been in the mix.
I do. I gotta say, man, I don't agree with you with Ray Gillen as the frontman of Black Sabbath. I'm not knocking his voice, and coming from Glenn
I'll
Hughes,
admit he's a bit of a Dio clone, but
I thought
singer.
I thought he was a good replacement for Glenn Hughes because he was able to do those notes and do justice to the Glenn Hughes material who he was replacing. But as far as I'm concerned, Tony Martin was hands above. He was the replacement singer that we needed and deserved and got. Honestly, that's the way I see it. People compare him to Dio, and I get that, and he does have a completely different style, though. He when you actually listen to Tony Martin and compare him to the Dio versions, they're actually nothing alike.
Yeah, I never got the Dio clone thing for Martin when Ray Gillen was right there and was more of a Dio clone.
Whereas I don't hear the Dio clone side with Ray Gillen as much, but I don't know. For me personally, first time I heard Ray Gillen, he was more of a David Coverdale clone because he was singing in Badlands. And a lot of people, when Badlands came out, a lot of people were like, holy F, that guy sounds like David Coverdale. I remember distinctly in 89, a lot of people were like, this band it sounds like exactly like Whitesnake. So for me, that's where I get, that's where my mind goes when I hear Ray Gillen. My mind doesn't go to Dio.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Martin era, but just purely based on the singing, Ray Gillen's probably my favorite.
Wow, the contrarian strikes again. I'm glad we had this conversation. I will give props as well to Dave Walker, who only ever did one song, but I love his voice on that one song, which I guess, even though he doesn't say Junior's Eyes anywhere in the song, we're calling it Junior's Eyes.
Yeah, I think he might have came back for that. A couple of years ago, this guy organized this sort of tribute album with a bunch of previous Sabbath.
Is that
thing is
Emerald Sabbath?
yeah, that's the one, Emerald Sabbath. Yeah, I think Walker might have come back for that. I can't tell you off the top of my head if he did, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
I love the way he sings Junior's Eyes. I mean, I know you know the track. There's one part where he's like, okay, so there's a part that goes, oh yeah. And then at the end of the song, he's like, oh yeah. It's just like, I love that bit, you know? I just love it. It would have been interesting to see where they went with him, but 'twas not meant to. I think they would have got more bluesy, but 'twas not meant to be. And, you know, we ended up, one of the things I love about Black Sabbath is I've always loved bands with multiple lead singers over the years, because you get the same basic core sound, but then you get new spins on it all the time. And Sabbath
Sabbath.
But I think Sabbath was like the first for me. Like I was like, there was always Maiden, there was Di'Anno and Dickinson, but everybody in my neighborhood, it was like hands down Dickinson. You know, he was the favorite. Di'Anno was considered, they're not quite there yet, you know. This is just the attitude of kids in the street when I was growing up. But with Sabbath, it's like, hey,
fickle
there's
fans.
Fickle fans. When I first discovered Sabbath, Ian Gillen was the current lead singer. Actually, he had probably just left, and they were in that inter-album period where they had Jeff Fenholt and trying to think of some of the others before they settled on Glenn Hughes to do the 7 Star album. They had a few other guys in there. Jeff Fenholt was one, and the dude
Donato, what was that?
Donato, yeah. Dave Donut Donato, and there was at least, I think Ron Keel was involved at one point, and the lead singer from Kick-Axe, whose name is now escaping me. Deke's gonna smack me in the head. George something. He was involved.
Should have said Spectre General. He might not have known.
Spectre General, Kick-Axe, yes. Hey, John Hubner's watching, and he disagrees with me on the Whitesnake thing. That's weird. Maybe it was only up in Canada where this was being said. But
I mean, the only Badlands I've heard is that live cover they do of Purple Haze, and that's just classic Gillen belting it out. It's from a bootleg that Deke reviewed many years ago. One Night Live in Boston.
Okay, I might have to track that down then. And you might have to get some Badlands in your life, because I mean, you like the members generally. Eric Singer had just departed Black Sabbath basically at that point. And we got Jakey Lee on lead guitar, Greg Chase on bass, but Jakey Lee being the big name that got them signed. And it was kind of a big deal, you know. Hey, you know, we got a Sabbath drummer and a Sabbath singer and the Aussie guitarist, but they put out just this really dirty, kick-ass, raw, bluesy metal album. I'm going to say metal because it's heavy. When the first single, Dreams in the Dark, hit Much Music, I'm sorry, John, everybody was saying, wow, that guy sure sounds like Coverdale. Everybody was saying, I don't know. Maybe it was just in Canada. I don't know. I thought so. I thought he sounded like Coverdale, and that's not a bad thing. And I think if you heard the song Dreams in the Dark, you'd hear where I'm coming from with that Coverdale. I
probably.
I can't unhear it. I'm sorry, John. Oh. Well, I'm sorry, Harrison, but I have to interrupt this program because we have a very meaty surprise for you tonight. Hey, Meat. I told you he'd be outside having a cigarette somewhere, didn't I?
I was trying to do it without turning my head.
I love this, man. How are you? How are you?
Hello, everybody.
How are you? How are
How's it going?
you? Can you hear me?
Good. Come stai?
God, he looks like...
Not bad. Is it weird connection?
Yeah, it's a little weird. Do you know who that guy is? Tizzy on Twitter. You look like a gray bearded
bad connection.
You look like a gray bearded Tizzy right now.
No,
he's wearing a black. He does look like a garden gnome.
I don't know who that is.
Well, you look like him.
I don't know who that is.
That's fine.
It's completely new to me.
How are you tonight, my friend?
I thought I was with Tom and Bucky last night, and I coined to myself, the new Uncle Jesse.
That's a Canadian reference. That's Harrison won't understand.
Not really. It's not Canadian. Well, no, it's not.
Oh wait,
it's
no,
not
I was
Canadian.
thinking of cousin Jesse on Beachcombers is what I was thinking. Uncle Jesse
No, I was
was
talking
the Dukes of
Uncle
Hazzard,
Jesse
right?
On the
Dukes
of Hazzard, yeah, Dukes of Hazzard.
We were just discussing,
sure.
and Mr. Hubner here, the esteemed Mr. John Hubner, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, and is from the same generation of rock and roll that I am. We were just discussing if Ray Gillen and David Coverdale sound similar vocally, and I was saying that in '89 when the Badlands album came out, yeah, they were compared.
Yeah. Well, you also have to consider in that whether we're talking about David Coverdale singing properly or singing in Deep Purple in 1975, because there's a big difference.
No, David Coverdale circa 87, because that was what we were listening to at the time.
All right.
Do you have an opinion on this, Meat Romney? He's having connection issues. We'll just consider him the guy in the window for now until he speaks up.
Some weird connection. I might have to move because of the connection.
Just gets up and moves.
This is just typical Meat, isn't it?
It's like we never left.
Anyway, that's where I was. That's what we used to say back in the 80s. Is that David Coverdale? Sorry, I got that backwards. Ray Gillen, David Coverdale, very similar. Very similar. And you know, Badlands, I'm not knocking Badlands. I love Badlands. They only made 2 albums before they split, and then there was like the posthumous 3rd album made of demos. But they were a good, solid band. Jakey Lee does not play anything like he did with Ozzy. And he's really just cranked up the dirty knob on his guitar, you know, and it's a noisy album, and I recommend it to you, Harrison. I mean, you like all the kind of like the core bands that made up Badlands.
We'll have to see.
How did you avoid hearing Badlands all this time?
Well, the discs are not exactly on the shelves.
Well, that's true,
so to speak. Yeah, the only Badlands I have heard, as I mentioned, was that cover of Purple Haze, which I was reading Deke's review back in like 2018 or something. I'm like, I've got to hear this. I'm
going to put a picture up on the screen for the Meat Man. I'm going to take a look at this guy. And I want the audience to tell me if he and the Meat Man have any sort of resemblance, okay? So just a moment here. Open image and new tab. There it is. Okay. Share screen. Chrome tab. That dude. You tell me. You tell me. You tell me, audience. Does this man look like the Meat Man or vice versa? You tell me.
Well, they're both vaguely human shaped.
Yeah, but look. I mean, look at them. Look at
I'm
them.
joking.
Look down there and look over there. I mean, it's the same guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the same guy.
It's just you're discriminating against beard people, saying
Honestly,
that every
the
beard
face-
person looks
The
same.
face bit looks more like Eric Woods, actually, to me.
John Hubner says there's a resemblance. And that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, the ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
So how's your connection now?
I don't know. Well, right now it's been better. So
okay. Do you want to weigh in on this?
I really don't know much. I really don't I don't know much about Badlands. It's just never been something I've really delved into.
You don't remember them from the 80s at all?
Oh, I remember them. I just don't. I don't know if I've ever actually heard a whole album or anything like that.
Okay, that's fair.
I can barely remember any of it. So yeah.
I don't think you'd hate it. I don't think you'd like it, but I don't think you'd hate it.
So I saw the Dio movie, and it was outstanding, and I recommend any way to see it whenever possible.
Where and when did you see it?
Saw it at the theater about 800 meters from you.
Fairway Road?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. I didn't know it was playing.
Yeah. Me and Phil and Michael. Tom, Cam, a bunch of people. Of course, me and Tom. Of course, I had to do what Tom does and sit right in the front row, like literally, like as close as you could possibly, like a neck craning thing. And at one point, I said to him, like before it started, I'm like, we're so close. I think I'm going to be able to see Rudy Sarzo's nose hairs. And 20 minutes in, there it was. It was Rudy Sarzo, like so close, like the biggest Rudy Sarzo nostril I've ever seen. It was good. Yeah, the movie was great.
For Mr. Hubner here, can you tell us the name of the movie?
Dreamers Never
Dio,
Die. I think.
Dreamers Never Die. Yeah,
there you go.
Right. Sorry, and I saw an amazing metal show, Death Angel, Exodus, and Testament, and that show.
I didn't even know about that one either.
Well, I posted a video on Facebook about it, right? or like a clip of it, the end thing of Testament. The Testament thing was amazing. It was like an all-star band because it was Skolnick, and he was like 10 feet from me, and he was just so amazing. And there was a bass player there that was playing a fretless bass, and it blew my mind that he could be playing a fretless bass in that style of music. It was pretty rad. And it was Dave Lombardo.
Lombardo's back with Testament again.
I was a drummer, and that was amazing. And Exodus was really, really heavy, like the heaviest of the three by far. But I loved Death Angel. I've wanted to see Death Angel live for a long time, and they didn't act like an opener band. It was like three headliners, and Death Angel was fantastic, fan-fucking-tastic. Like the lead singer, I was surprised with how top shelf of a frontman he was, like Dickinson level. Like that, and that's saying a lot because I know that Dickinson is the best that's ever done it. If not, well, I maybe him and Freddie. But
I'd like to address Chris Sarr real quick here. Chris Sarr, as you know, I couldn't have gone to the movies anyway because I don't go to movies without popcorn, and I have not been able to eat popcorn for a month. So there you go.
Gotcha.
Oh, and
well, I wanted to see the King Crimson movie, but we missed that, and it was only playing in Guelph. But I'm really looking forward to that documentary. I think that's going to be wild.
I had no idea.
That's going to be wild stuff. I think it's going to be pretty good.
I saw an interview with Craig Goldie, and he said that he was surprised how much he's in the Dio movie, considering he only did I think 3 albums with Dio over like 3 completely separate time periods. I think.
Yeah, I mean, they cover what they should. They needed to cover with Vivian, but there was, I guess, bad blood for a long time.
Unfortunately, they never reconciled.
They didn't overdo the Vivian stuff, but they didn't like slough it off. It's kind of right in the middle. It was well done. It's well done, and like it was pretty wild. It's funny too. They completely skipped over Dehumanizer, like it never existed, which is weird. And it's almost kind of fitting because I've always wondered about that album, how sincere it is.
Raise the metal fingers for Dark.
Yeah, the movie was great. It was.
That's cool, man.
Hey, rock and roll.
I just want to talk to John here again. I love Dream Evil. I caught crap for this on Facebook a few weeks ago from Jumpa Wilmanius, but Dream Evil is one of my. It might be my favorite Dio album, actually. I just love it. I recognize the fact that a lot of people don't care for a lot of the songs on it, including Ronnie himself. But then he did Magica, which Harrison and I were talking about not that long ago. Magica, also a great Dio album, though obviously not on the same level. And then he returned for the very final Dio album, Master of the Moon, which, again, not an album that I dislike. I just think there's also a diminishing returns with those latter-day Dio albums. But anyway, so he loved Dream Evil as well. Sunset Superman.
I kind of got off the Dio train at Sacred Heart.
That's Sacred Heart.
I remember having it on vinyl and not really getting into it, and I don't think I think the next one is probably Dream Evil. I have no idea.
It is. They did the intermission EP in Dream Evil.
I probably didn't ever even give Dream Evil a chance, because, well, at that point had kind of, that very time it was like all heavy, so that wasn't heavy enough, so it just kind of went away.
How about you, Harrison? What do you feel about Dream Evil?
I have not heard it yet.
Okay, well, you know what? I got to get Harrison. Maybe I'll send you some tracks of my favorites, but I got to get you caught up on a little bit of Badlands and a little bit of Dream Evil.
Yeah, I'm a Sacred Heart fan, so
I got no problem with Sacred Heart either.
That Sacred Heart live album was for a long time all the Dio I needed.
Well, I know how you feel.
Who is the guitar player on Sacred Heart? Is that the last one with Vivian?
Yes, it is.
That's the last one with Vivian.
And then
Craig Goldie did the
tour.
Yeah, it was Craig.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Scotty.
So we just got tickets for a show at Center in the Square in April. A bunch of us. It's called an act called The Musical Box.
Yes, the Genesis.
Yes. I have seen them at Center in the Square 8-9 years ago, and it was fantastic. And this time I'm seeing them do all of The Land Lies Down on Broadway. But I mean, it's all the album, but it's the actual tour, so it's songs as well, and it's really neat what they do. Like they do so much as copy all the in-between song banter that Peter Gabriel was doing. It's like being at an actual show in '74 or whatever.
Do they kind of pretend it's still the '70s then?
It's everything. Like, but the best thing about it is that it's all '74. Like all the instruments and the amps and like any sound equipment, it just sounds literally like '74. It's really well done. Like, it's more than being a cover band. Like,
that's cool, man.
It's more theater than anything.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Let me think here. I got nothing lined up that I'm going to see. So I'll move on. I'll show off a few more CDs if that's okay with you guys.
Yep.
Yeah,
a couple as well.
I was watching.
Yeah, I'll be getting out of here soon. I was just coming in to say hi.
I appreciate it, man. We're gonna wrap up pretty soon anyway, but
well, Eric, okay, I'll let you two go at it.
Okay.
For the rest, right. Harrison, good to see you again, brother.
And, stop by again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. And it's Uncle Jesse out.
Uncle Jesse out. See ya, Garden Gnome.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just do a few more CDs and then we'll call it a night. We'll play a song and call it a night. But I wanted to give a big shout out to Brent Jensen and Alex Huard from Thursday Night Music Club. A few weeks ago, they were talking about this album by this band, and it inspired me to go out and finally buy the first Boston album. And when I say go out, I actually just went on my Amazon app, and I noticed they had the Japanese import version there sitting there for like 30 odd bucks or whatever. I didn't have to have it imported. It was just in Canadian stock. So here it is. I got the Japanese import of the first Boston album. I knew basically all the songs anyway. I think there was only one song here I've never heard before. And now I finally own, which I've been meaning to buy this for about 25 years, but I've kind of one day they're going to release a really cool edition. Well, I found a really cool edition. There is, this was a birthday gift. Exactly the same deal. It was in Amazon stock. And my sister bought, or was it my mom? One of the two of them. I'm sorry. I can't remember who bought this for me because we did that Jazz Saturday episode with Robert Lawson and Aaron. And Robert Lawson was raving about this album. It's the album that, I believe, if I get all the details correct, it's the album that came after Jack Johnson when Miles was kind of like working with jazz rock fusion. So I enjoyed it very much. At the time, it was critically panned, and it has become a cult classic since then. And I believe Mr. Lawson has a lot of different versions of this, and this cover is ever so slightly different from the regular version. And finally, the last CD that I imported from Japan, and maybe the last CD for a long time that I import from Japan, the new Journey, which I have not shown off at all yet, because when I did that episode of Tim's Vinyl Confessions, the CD hadn't arrived yet. So this is the new Journey. The bonus track is a John Cale ballad called Hard to Let It Go, which has grown on me, actually, since I reviewed the album. And I might give it like half a point more than I did at the time. I like this album. I think it's quite good. If I had to pick my top 3 albums for the year 2022, they would probably be the new Ghost, Impura, the new Scorpions, Rock Believer, although those two are interchangeable at number 1 and 2, and the new Journey, Freedom. That's where we stand for 2022.
For me, it's just Tony Martin. That's the only real new album I've been interested in.
And I knew John would dig on the corner. I knew you would dig that. Well, Harrison, we've been on an hour. We said we were going to go an hour, and I'm going to go and...
May I show off the last few CDs?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is it, man.
Yeah. You've already seen this one, but I just got it recently for the really cool translucent orange cover. And
look at my reflection in your CD.
Yeah, now it's just 2 LeBrains on the panel.
And one's got a slight delay to it.
Yeah, this bit here and the track listing is actually printed onto the disc. Not
onto
the disc, sorry, onto the case, which is interesting.
Kidding. That's not a plastic inlay.
No, they do have a plastic on the front. They've got the liner notes,
but that logo,
wow. And there's no actual rear insert. I don't know if it ever came with one or whether
I doubt it.
It just didn't have it. But yeah, I don't know where this is from. Whether it's I don't think it's a promo, but maybe it is. But
are you going to try to get that sticker off the front?
I already have tried. That's what's left after I tried.
Okay.
But yeah, I might go at it with something. I've also been doing some Japanese importing of my own, but not new things and not bonus tracks, but from Rob's neck of the woods. This is
Biohazard 2.
Japanese. Yeah, in Japan, Resident Evil is known as Biohazard. So this is the Resident Evil 2 soundtrack from 1998. But because it's the Japanese version, it says Biohazard 2 on it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I still have to send you that parcel that Rob gave me to send you.
Oh. I'd completely forgotten about that.
I have to make a trip to the post office before Christmas. Email me your mailing address, will you?
All right. And a couple last ones. The new Slade live album box set.
Nice.
Really good. 5 live albums, 3 of them completely new. There's plenty of live Slade to go around now.
5 live albums. How many discs?
5 discs.
5 discs.
It's got Alive and On Stage, which were already released. It doesn't have the previously released Alive Volume 2, which is peculiar, but it's got the full Alive at Reading, which was previously an EP. And then it's got a show from 75 and 81. So there's plenty of classic tracks. I believe that's the year. But plenty of classic tracks. If you've seen Slade in Flame or know the album, the 75 show is from that tour. And lastly, Mike, you've already seen this, but one of the holiest of grails I have just acquired.
I'm jealous.
It's a soundboard bootleg of most of the main show from their Brazil 1996 show. The show was broadcast on TV. It doesn't have all the tracks. There are some unique tracks to the broadcast, and there are some unique tracks to the disc, but this is all soundboard, completely clear, really good. A couple of songs have some splices, but not really any of the ones that you'd be that you wouldn't be able to get other good renditions of from the tour. Really good. What's funny is that not only is this back tray put in upside down, but I don't know if you can see, but Man on the Edge is mistitled as Falling Down.
Of course it is.
The first track there.
Of course it is.
What's Fortunes of War? Blood on the World's Hand is mistitled as Out of Control.
Okay.
And where are we? What's the last one? Oh yeah, Sign of the Cross is mistitled as The Name of the Rose, which I don't even know how they got that one, because he has the Sign of the Cross more than anything else.
Yeah, like the sign of the cross, the name of the rose is the second line of the chorus, not the first.
Yeah,
anyway.
there's a really good renditions of all of the Blaze songs he does, but 2 Minutes to Midnight's really good on here. Fear of the Dark's really good on here. The Clairvoyant is too, and The Evil That Men Do. Probably one of the best nights they had of that tour.
Very cool. All right, well, Harrison, I thank you for joining me tonight for just some fun and games and some toys and music. And
thank you for having me on.
A little bit of meat and a little bit of some music that I'm going to have to get sent your way. I said I wanted to play a song. We never played one at the midway point, so I guess we only get to play one song. And I guess if we're only going to play one song, I'm going to let you pick it.
But don't throw me a curveball like that. Let's see what. Sorry, I'm trying to think.
Thanks, John.
What song might be most relevant to the next T-Bone Man that I'm working on?
Well, let's take a look. We have the Buried on Mars, Too Loud, Too Old, that we've only ever played once.
Yes, let's play that.
Okay, so this is. I'm not sure actually the proper name of the song, so we'll call it Buried on Mars, Too Loud, Too Old.
I believe that's the name.
It's either that or Too Loud,
with
Too
a
Old,
slash
Buried on Mars. Or I think it might be in brackets. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It is the last T-Bone Erickson song released to date. And
no,
actually,
Last Train.
No, Last Train was. You're right. Okay. Yeah, but it's the least played because I've definitely used, Last Train in a million things since then. Well, thank you, Harrison. I'll talk to you very, very soon. And thank you, T-Bone Erickson, for the music. This is a little song called Buried on Mars, Too Loud, Too Old. Have a great Friday night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Adios.
See ya.